Good morning and welcome to Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We have seen people who in any social gathering are the center of attraction. And we have also seen people who consider themselves to be pariahs, to be outsiders. One of the major components of being a social being is to know the art of storytelling. And the people with the skills of storytelling are always popular, demanded in social gatherings, and are able to hold attention. And that ability to hold attention, to attract attention, is one of the most important parts of human beings, as human beings are social animals. If you remember, there was a TV series, Mindhunter Season 2. And in one of the episodes, the FBI agent Bill Tent was talking to the guest about his skills as interviewing people. And there was excitement in the group. The group was hanging on his lips to hear every word. Because Bill was focusing on human aspects of the experience and little quirks of the people who were behind bars. At one point, Holden joins them and Bill hands him the audience, walks away. Immediately, there's a drop in the interest as Holden started quoting facts and figures. And it appeared that he was talking as if he was conducting a class on behavioral sciences. Nobody was interested. People started walking away. Now that shows the difference between Bill and Holden. Bill was able to keep the interest of his audience. He was focused on his audience. Holden was focused on himself and his study. Bill's success was as a storyteller in narrating human trivia. It's not important what you are telling. It's important how you are telling. And this is an indicator of the personality of the people. The people, alpha plus people, always are great storytellers. Who alpha plus are, I'll take up in another episode. Good storytelling experience, the grace, it's a social grace. I don't call it a skill only, I call it a social grace. And everybody benefits by it. It benefits the storyteller and it benefits the listener. It's a great bonding experience. And this experience lifts ordinary, mundane, day-to-day routine conversation from non-starter to an unforgettable experience. You are a great conversationalist, only then you can be a great storyteller. And a recent study shows that women consider men who can tell stories more attractive because they are more honest in their assessment. Men may not be that assessment. So the point is, can this art be developed, or is it intuitive? Is it inherent in your nature, or can you develop it? But this is, as a matter of fact, an art which can be learned easily. And how? It needs a certain attitude, a certain experience, and a certain art. Stories in this context, I do not mean stories of fiction, but to incidents and experiences from everyday life we share with others. I'm not saying tell SF fables or Arabian tales, no. I'm talking of your day-to-day experience and transmuting that experience to the others as a part of social interaction. When there's a point or context in telling the incident, it becomes much more valuable, much more interesting to the audience. For instance, if you share a story to prove a point you made, or How should a technology have an adverse impact on the environment? Give personal experience. That affects everybody. Most important part in telling a story is to project something which you share, something of your own self, if it's your experience. If it's not your experience, you're telling it secondhand, it won't have that much of impact. Sharing incidents from your own life is always a winner. And honestly speaking, I found myself trying to rewind a movie dialogue through a cinema by pressing buttons on my cell phone. I was reading a newspaper the other day, and then when you're reading a newspaper, it was before I started reading them in the internet. You can continue on page 2, expecting the page to turn itself. With a bit of embellishment, the story can be told and it can cause a humorous part of life. But too much of exaggeration takes away from authenticity of the story. And when the story is not authentic, it shows that you are not authentic. Your audience is put off. After people have assembled to hear you share a personal experience, not your wild flight of imagination. So your life, your experience, things which are of immediate happening to you and that you want to transmit is a social skill. And then don't forget, people have a very sharp sense of observation. And the observation is not just for the actual physical and for obvious aspects. It's also for small nuances, quirks, body language, and goes much beyond. And that makes better storytellers. If you know how to use gestures, if you know when to smile, if you know when to twitch your eyes and raise your eyebrows, if you know how to say touch with your tongue, if you know how to make eyes, if you know how to be stern at times, how to make your brow wrinkle in enjoyment, that would make you a great storyteller. A good delivery with tonal variations helps a lot. But then unfortunately what happens is that we have never been taught that dramatics and theatrics are not only meant for the theater, they are meant for daily life as well. If you cannot have a modulation in your voice, ups and downs, the way they are in real life, you cannot impact people. A monologue, same tonal transference of your story makes it boring hearing. And who wants to be bored? Not me, at least. I don't know about you. So what you need is A, your personal experience, B, no exaggeration, C, use of nuances, use of quirks, use of body language, an excellent delivery, and tone. Tone can go up, can go down, it can be bass, it can be treble. All that needs to be imparted in telling your story. People will remember it. It will become a part of their experience. And many times you would find that your story is repeated infinite times. Infinite times. You cannot hear. You go to a gathering. I remember I told a story once in Gymkhana, Delhi. After 5 years, somebody was telling me the story and I laughed. He said, well, why are you laughing? And I told him, well, this is a story I told. He says, well, I was there listening to it. So it becomes a part of the social experience. Your story does not remain your personal thing. It becomes a part of the social thing. And then, there's a vicarious beauty in that. When what you're telling does not remain your thing, but becomes a part of the social network. What a pleasant thing is it? Because there's a connectivity. Emotions, feelings, nuances, body language, tonal differences. All that goes for making you a better human being. And not only that, it makes you connect with the people. So as I was saying, audiences love their emotions to be aroused. You have to arouse their emotions by connecting, by theatricals, by tonal voices, by variations, by your gestures, and most important, by the authenticity of the story. Using your voice, as I said earlier, to express emotions and drama would keep your people mesmerized. It has a hypnotic effect. And that's what the storytelling is. And if you tell a hypnotic effect, then people will love you. Now, why was Hitler so successful? He was not a great strategist. He was not a good politician. But when he would speak, he would be hypnotic. When he was looking at you and talking to you, you would be riveted to your seat and you would accept everything that he was telling you to be the gospel truth. That was the quality of Hitler which made the Germans follow him as the children followed the piper of Hamelin. You remember that story, I'm sure. The piper of Hamelin, who was supposed to take away rats, and he took away the rats, but then the council did not pay him. So he took away all the children. People were simply hypnotized, and that was Hitler. That was Winston Churchill. That was Cicero. That was Demosthenes. These people would connect with the people, hypnotize them, mesmerize them. And they had their way. So you can have that. Now, when I say that you can mesmerize your people, you are using your voice to great dramatic effort. And what are you doing? Building passion, building tension, building drama to arouse emotions. You know, I've seen many Bollywood films, the hero and the heroine start shouting at the top of your voice, which is not connected to the reality. And that's why they are not successful. If you see, when I say tonal differences, it does not only mean shouting. It means it should be adjusted to the need. You remember King Lear, the play by Shakespeare. In that, when Cordelia dies, the father is just broken heart. And he says two lines. A cat, a rat, a leaf has life. And thou no breath at all. Thou would never come back to life, no. Never, 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 never. And then he keeps quiet. So this use of the word never 4 times. Very simple, very telling, very effective. And when you are a listener, you are stunned into shock. You share the shock and the misery of the old man, the father. You connect to the death of Cordelia. But if you see the Hindi and Punjabi and Pakistani drama, you'll see when somebody dies, they're shouting, there's crying, and that doesn't connect you. Connection is simple. So, second part, which I was saying, don't hog the evening or the conversation. Don't have a long-winded tale that goes on and on and on. A story should be crisp, brief, to the point, finished. Learn to be brief. Learn to be to the point. You know, where there are much more leaves, fruit is less. Try to give fruit. Be on the watch out for the signs of the audience reaction. Are they getting bored? Are they riveted? And if you see even a single sign on the face of even one member of the audience, change the technique. Wind up the story. Give others a chance with theirs. And then don't repeat your stories to the people. I know people repeat the stories and then you don't want to meet them ever. Keep enjoying your new experience. Examine them. Hone your observation skills. And not only observation skills, but also your learning skills. Keep creating new stories. Keep telling new stories with the tonal difference, with the dramatic effect, concise, pithy, brief. And believe me, you'll be more popular, you'll be more cherished, you'll be a better human being. Be a good storyteller and be a better human being. Thank you.